Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to part 25 of What If Naruto Went with Itachi. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual and share it to all of your friends on your social media platform. And I posted a new episode on my second channel, Uchiha Naruto the Sage, so go ahead and check that out. And on this channel, I posted What If Naruto Went Dark, so go ahead and check that out also. And if you haven't yet, new viewer, this is the first time you hear my voice, what are you waiting for? I know you see that red subscribe button, go ahead and click it and join the Anime King family and be a part of it. And also go ahead and check out my second channel, Anime King 2, where you can enjoy What If over there as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. Start the intro. You can change. You satisfy the rage in me. Take away my pain. You satisfy the rage in me. So to do a little bit of a recap, everyone thought that Naruto was a traitor, but Team 7 finally managed to figure out that he was being controlled as Itachi and Kisame came back to the village as they told Team 7 that there's a way to save Naruto, and they went over the plan. Sasuke no longer have hatred towards Itachi, so they can be in the same place. While Naruto was brought back to the Akatsuki base, all of the Bijus were captured. They were not extracted, they were still alive, the Jinchurikis in their human form, Bijus inside of them. From one tail straight up to 8 tails, as Itachi told them that Naruto will be their leader as they are going to create a new group of Jinchurikis. You guys can go ahead and switch across and check out all the other parts if you haven't yet. So we had a time skip in the last episode, as everyone had grown up and Naruto had changed a lot. Last we left off, he was in the field training with Itachi, and I told you guys all about his new appearance. So let's start this new episode. Sakura stood in front of Kakashi as she was breathing hard, trying to keep up with her sensei. Kakashi had taken off gravity seals off of himself. Now he was faster than Sasuke and Sakura. They would have to keep up, or he would left them in the dust. Sasuke then grinned at Kakashi, who had his back to him at the moment because he was dealing with Sakura. Kakashi sensei, wasn't there something about never leaving your back open to an enemy? Sakura asked sweetly as she could, as Kakashi raised her eyebrow and turned to look behind him. No one was there. What the heck was Sakura talking about? Kakashi said to himself as he turned back to see Sakura grinning. Kakashi then feel himself being pulled under to the ground as his neck was the only thing left above the surface. As he looked up and glared at Sasuke, Sakura was right, you forgot about me and now you pay for it, Sasuke said as he walked around Kakashi's head. Kakashi closed his eye for a second, then snapped it back open. His body then flew out of the ground. Good job, you two. You're getting better at working together. Keep it up, and you will be at the top of the charts for Shinobi. As Kakashi then started to walk away, but he was stopped by a wall of earth, as that multiplied and surrounded all of them like a dome, as it was very large inside. The top of it then light up with fire and lightning, preventing their escape. You three aren't going anywhere today, a voice said, as Team 7 turned to see 3 Akatsuki members. Itachi then stepped forward, ready to watch the battle that was about to commence, and he was going to enjoy it. He wanted to see if Team 7 could fight Naruto and break the seal. If they win, the seal will be broken, but if they didn't, it will still be placed on Naruto. Itachi and Kisame were both on Naruto's side. They wanted Naruto to be happy. They didn't want him to be controlled like a puppet. But because of pain, They couldn't do anything too suspicious, make him think of them as an enemy. As both Itachi and Kisame then stepped back, as Naruto moved forward, his eyes empty, his heart still beating, but he wasn't in control. He wanted his body back. He could see everything, mostly because he had the demon chakra. The seal was still too strong though. It kept him from breaking free and going back to the Leaf Village and Team 7. He wanted to cry on the outside, but nothing was happening. His face just remained emotionless, as he wanted to beat the crap out of Itachi, not knowing that Itachi is doing all of this for his benefit. He also wanted to kill Pain. Meanwhile, Sakura, Sasuke and Kakashi watched Naruto as Kakashi raised up his headband, revealing his eye. Naruto then vanished, as he appeared behind Kakashi, kicking him in the back, sending him flying. Sasuke then attacked with a fire jutsu, but Naruto dodged as he used a water jutsu and sent him flying back as he slammed into a tree. Sakura tried to use a genjutsu, but it was useless on Naruto as he used a roundhouse kick and kicked her away. Together, get up and attack using an earth jutsu, Kakashi ordered as the two Chunins nodded, as all three at once did a earth dragon, as 3 earth dragon was approaching Naruto head on. Naruto stayed in the center. He didn't move as water appeared out of nowhere, wrapping around Naruto, protecting him. Kakashi and his two Chunins gaped at such a display of power. They couldn't believe it. Naruto couldn't be that strong, could he? As the dust was in the air, Naruto vanished as it could be heard kicking, punching, and everything in the dust. As when the smoke cleared, Naruto was holding Sakura by the neck while Sasuke's face was planted in the tree, blood coming from his mouth, and Kakashi was down in the ground. Naruto, please, you can't do this to us. We're your friends, your family, she yelled. As she then bit him on the hand, he dropped her and Sakura landed on her butt. Kakashi rushed towards Naruto and went to hit him at a pressure point, but he was kicked in the stomach and slammed into a tree. With Naruto's attention turned to Kakashi, Sakura then grabbed a kunai and stabbed him right in his stomach. As tears were coming from her eyes, she didn't want to hurt him, but she knew she had to do it. Naruto, I know you can hear me. Fight it, break it. I know you can do it, Sakura sobbed, as Naruto used his backhand and slapped her away. As he walked over to her, she was crying heavily and her lip was bleeding, along with several cuts on her body. Naruto, please fight it, she said, looking up at him, hoping that he fight it. What she saw next surprised and terrified her at the same time. Kakashi looked up at Sakura and Naruto. He was surprised that Naruto didn't move to finish her, as Sakura was looking up at Naruto with fear and surprise. Whatever the expression Naruto had on, it couldn't be good. As Sasuke looked over to see Naruto holding a kunai in his hand, but there was something on his face, but because of the umbrella hat, his view was obstructed. Itachi and Kisame was in amazement as Naruto stopped moving. He was just holding a kunai and staring at the girl. Could it be that it finally happened? Had the seal been broken? Or did everything fail and Naruto was going to die today? They weren't sure, but whatever happened, Itachi believed in Naruto and hoped that he come free. As Sakura then looked up at Naruto, as both tears and the blood was falling from his eyes. Blood poured from his eyes and his mouth, along with tears. Something was terribly wrong, and from the looks of it, Naruto was suffering from it. Naruto then fell on his knees, unable to hold his weight anymore, as he fell on Sakura, who caught him. as the kunai in his hand fell right into Sakura's leg as she winced in pain, but she didn't focus on that. She flipped Naruto onto his back and laid his head onto her lap. Sakura! Naruto managed to mutter out as tears also fell out of her eye. Knowing that Naruto is back in control, she was overjoyed until she saw blood began to stain his cloak. Blood was pouring from his chest. "I did it. I broke the seal," he said, as his eyes began to close. Sakura then stopped panic as she remembered her training from Tsunade. As she tore his cloak off with his shirt and the seal, blood was coming from it. She placed her hand on it and activated the green chakra and quickly started to heal him, trying to save his life. As Itachi told them before the time skip, either Naruto break the seal and survive, or he break it and die. But Itachi was hoping that Naruto would be alright, as both Itachi and Kisame looked over, knowing that something was wrong. They looked at each other for a second before rushing to Naruto's side. They saw the blood and his breathing was shallow. They both knew that Naruto broke the seal himself because of not hurting Sakura. Because he broke it himself, the seal imploded on his chest, damaging muscles, and most possibly, since he was over his heart, destroying half of that and part of his lungs. Even with the Kyuubi inside of him, Itachi was sure that Naruto couldn't survive this. He was going to die, but in a loving care of his old and new family. A tear ran down Itachi's cheek. Naruto was close to him and even all the Akatsuki members. He was the reason why they didn't turn on Pain and why they stay with the Akatsuki. Because all of those years with him being with them, he grew on all of them. He was also to be the leader of the elite group of the Jinchurikis. But now, Itachi wasn't so sure anymore. Sakura couldn't stop the bleeding. She couldn't save him as more tears ran down her eyes as the chakra disappeared. As she hardly noticed anyone else was there, she just looked down at Naruto. All she could think about was all the blood and Naruto is going to die. She then cuffed his cheek as she leaned down and kissed him on the lips. "I love you, Naruto," she whispered as Naruto breathed his last breath. As she screamed out, everyone in the village could hear the scream. After a while, Sakura wouldn't let him go. Like he was still alive, she was still crying. Even Kakashi, Kisame, Itachi, Sasuke, all of them were all crying as well, seeing Naruto dead, as they couldn't believe it. How could he be dead? As the dome around them faded away, as both Itachi and Kisame jumped off to the trees as they headed away. "Sakura, we need to leave. We need to get him out of here," Kakashi said as he tried to move her away from the dead body. She growled, making Kakashi worried for her. Sakura's tears were still flowing heavy as Sasuke was also crying, but he moved towards Sakura as he dragged her away from the body as she was kicking and screaming, "Let me go! Let me go, Sasuke!" She shouted at him. She screamed as Sasuke held her and held her tightly as she gripped the front of Sasuke's shirt and cried, implanted her face in his chest as she couldn't take this feeling as Sasuke put his arms on her, trying to comfort her. Kakashi then walked over and picked up Naruto's body, as also he was crying. He knew Naruto since birth, but ever since he got on his genin team. From there, it started and they became close. They have been through so much. When they face off against Zabuza, the whole ordeal with the tuning exams, the invasion, everything. As Kakashi couldn't believe it. Now the boy was dead. As Kakashi felt like he lost another precious person. He felt the same way about Ren, Obito, and Minato. As he turned and looked at Sakura, she loved Naruto, as he saw their relationship blossom over the years. As Naruto was always shy, so he used to wrap his arms around her. And from then, it turned into something else. And now, she lost him. He couldn't imagine the pain that she was feeling. She was broken, and he don't know if she can recover from this. As Kakashi held Naruto in bridal style, as his head was leaning down. As Sasuke saw Kakashi move, he then picked up Sakura, who was still clinging to his shirt, as it was very wet because of all her tears. "We're heading to the Hokage's tower," Kakashi said, as they all started to jump off in the trees. Back at the Hokage tower, Tsunade was at her desk doing some paperwork. Lot have happened since a blonde brat has left them. She had to file him as a missing nin. Well, the council ordered it that way. She didn't want it to do it, but she had to, since she saw when Naruto leave the village with the Akatsuki. After all, he was strong, and he would have become a special Jonin. So why did he leave? As she had no information, or knowing what Team 7 knew, because Kisame and Itachi told them to not tell anyone. She wanted to know everything, but she was stuck until Jiraiya returned from his spy network with information about the Akatsuki. As she was interrupted from her thoughts as Kakashi came through the door with Sasuke behind him. As she then realized that Sasuke held a sobbing Sakura, who was sobbing into his shirt. As she was surprised when she saw what Kakashi was carrying. It was Naruto. As she saw the whisker mark, he has grown up. His hair is now red with yellow bangs, but the whisker marks, she could tell that it's him. As she felt no chakra coming from him, his skin was pale, like dead, and his chest was red, very red. It was stained with blood. As she knew instantly that this boy was dead. She felt her eyes filled up with tears of the boy she thought as a grandson or son, as a quick flashback at the first time when he first found her with Jiraiya. As she walked up, "What happened?" she said, as Sasuke walked over to the couch to seat Sakura down, but she wouldn't let go still. Kakashi told her what happened as she went over and put Sakura to sleep with a medical ninjutsu. She then began to heal her, then Sasuke and Kakashi, as they placed Naruto on the ground, as she slowly healed the wounds on his dead form, so he would be prepared for burial later on. "I see. So he had a seal on his chest, and when he broke it, it imploded and destroyed him," Tsunade said. As Kakashi nodded, as he then shifted from foot to foot, he wanted something. "What is it, Kakashi?" Tsunade asked as she looked at him, as she was covering Naruto with another blanket that Shizune brought in. "I was wondering if I can stay with Sasuke and Sakura. I don't want the both of them to be alone right now, because Sakura's parents died during the invasion, so she was just alone, like Naruto and Sasuke. And they were all a little family, but the family was now destroyed." Tsunade nodded their head in agreement. "Stay at the Uchiha mansion as long as you need. Sasuke, that is an order, so no complaining," she said as she turned to Sasuke. But he just nodded. Take 2 weeks and recover from this. No training at all, Tsunade said. I will send someone over later. And with some of your things. No going over to your house. You guys really need to stay together and comfort each other. Kakashi nodded as he went over and picked up Sakura as he left with her. As Sasuke was about to leave as well before Tsunade called him back. Sasuke, stay for a moment. I want to ask you something important, Tsunade said. Sasuke turned around and faced her as he was waiting for her to ask whatever and hurry with it. He wanted to be with what was left of his team. I want to ask you to keep an eye on Sakura. She's unstable and she might do something stupid. Give her these. They're pills to calm her down. Make sure she eat properly. Sasuke nodded his head as he took the bottle of pills and then left. Tsunade sighed and then called for Tiger as the envoy responded instantly. But guys, I'm going to be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notification so you posted. And if you guys haven't yet, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join the Anime King family. But for now guys, I'm out. Peace.